station.
I can't find nothing on the radio. Yo, turn to that station.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Jeff Lutz.
Honestly, I'm not saying you shouldn't be, but you sound like you know some kind of trick.
You're funny.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
Here it is. This is what I'm thinking right now.
What are you people? On dope?
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Don't take drugs.
Stand by for action.
Good afternoon and welcome. It is Bob and Jeff on KFH. It is a Wednesday afternoon, overcast skies, some rain falling intermittently throughout the Wichita skies and the surrounding areas. And Bob is not here to share in the gloom and doom of a dark and dreary forecast. Jason Duda, however, freshly back from his stylist, who trimmed up the hair, got the goatee looking nice. He still covers it with a hat for whatever reason, doesn't want people to see his freshly cut hair, but he is sitting to my right, and he's ready for action.
Yep.
Is that right?
Sure.
You're so annoying sometimes. Why is that?
What happened?
Why'd you park so far away today? Well, I got in. I was a few steps away from the door, and here you come. I can barely see you approaching, and there's Jason Duda. I didn't.
You know
get
why?
It.
You know exactly why. Because the parking lot was full, and there's a sign that says "Parking for visitors of Odyssey only."
Right.
And where did you park?
In the parking lot,
right in front of the sign that says "For visitors."
Why are you?
So you were right there by the door, and I was out in the back 40. So I had to walk.
Yeah, you did. Quite a ways.
I
Got
did
your steps
because
in today.
I saw you even pull in and drive in. I thought, well, you can't park there. And he did.
He did. Am I not a visitor? Explain to me how I'm not a visitor of Odyssey. I do the show from here maybe once every couple weeks, maybe once a week. You've been coming in. We've been doing the show together quite a bit lately. This is not a Friday, though, so this one's going to look a little different.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
I'm not sure if Mike Furchess is going to be able to join us. He fell ill this afternoon.
That's too bad.
He was going to join us in studio. He said he didn't want to get out, but, when someone's sick, I'm not going to, well, can we still call you? So, I don't know. I don't know if Mike's going to be
There's
on
a lot
the
of
show
people
tonight.
sick right now. My son's been out of school for 2 days. I had to take him to the doctor this morning.
Is something going around right now?
Cough and headache, and the doctor there said that it's going around. It's really bad in younger kids, but she's seeing it all over the place. They did a COVID test on him, and influenza and strep, and he didn't have any of that. But she said he needs to get on whatever it was, antibiotics or whatever. So the kid's struggling a little bit. So he's at home probably laying down. I'd like to think that he's trying to get some rest, but since nobody's there, I can almost guarantee he's probably just on his computer playing a game.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be? Even if you're
Probably
sick, you only get so many of those opportunities.
Should probably at least do his homework.
You think he's listening to the show right now?
Absolutely not.
Oh, my goodness. He's not a fan of yours?
Guaranteed he is not.
That's unfortunate.
No, so yeah, I get it. I get it, Mike. If you're not feeling good, don't give it to everybody else.
Yeah, don't do it.
Go get some rest. Take it.
Yeah, I've been watching, 2 or 3 shows.
What are you watching? Well, we should probably wait for Pulp Culture.
Yeah, we probably should wait.
Just wait. I want to
Top
spit
of the
this
hour.
out. Pop culture.
Pop culture talk.
Yeah.
Put the talk in there.
Pop talk culture.
You're pretty close.
Say that 5 times
Pop
fast.
culture talk. Pop culture talk. Pop culture talk. Pop culture talk. Pop culture talk.
No, pop talk culture.
Pop talk culture. Pop talk culture. Pop talk culture. Pop talk culture. Pop talk culture. See,
Pop tart. What?
No, I said pop talk.
Pop talk.
Yeah, pop talk culture is what you wanted.
Pop tart culture. You said.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I never said pop.
The last 2 were
Max,
pop
did I
tart
ever say
culture.
pop tart?
Pop tart culture.
He says no.
He did not. Don't
only
put
saw-
words in Max's mouth.
I only saw
That's
the
the
top of
last
his
thing
head.
you want to deal with for 2 hours.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. But I only saw the top of his head, and it looked like it was swaying in the wind.
Well, of course,
in a no gesture.
The old silver fox. God,
Yes.
that's a gorgeous head of hair.
It does sway in the wind when
If we
even
don't-
there's no wind.
If we don't mention it every time we do the show from here, like I feel like I'm missing out on
You know
something.
he loves it.
Oh, yeah, he does. Look at him. Look at.
How come you haven't gone more gray? You're a little older than I am, and I'm getting like white in my beard.
Oh, I got
and
white
stuff.
in the beard. Look at the
Not
beard.
much.
No, well, of course not.
Not a lot.
When you don't have a team to cheer for in any sport, you don't grow gray as quick.
You don't lose any sleep.
No,
I forgot about that.
Absolutely not.
There's no
Max.
stress
Max
in your
has a
life.
great head of hair, but he's had it since he was 12.
I just got it cut. You know, I saw my cousin 2 years ago. I hadn't seen him in 25 years. He gets in the car and looks at me and goes, "What'd you do, see a ghost?"
Mm-hmm. The silver fox, salt and pepper all over the place there. It's unfair.
I guess that's something.
So what else is going on?
You want me to set up the show today?
Yeah, what do we have going on today?
It's interesting. It's an interesting show today.
All right.
At 2:25, we'll talk with Jamie Cruz. He's the head coach at the University of Andover High.
The university?
As Lou Holtz might say.
Okay.
The University of Andover football team. But he's the coach at Andover. They went from winless last year when he wasn't there, while he was winning 2 games at campus. He comes over to Andover, a team that had gone winless, and he's got them 4-4. And they have a pretty interesting game in the first round of the 5A playoffs. And we're going to go through that bracket at some point today, I think, because it is absolutely insane.
Why?
The 5A bracket. Because you have, like, these teams that played everybody that are like 2-6, and then these teams that played nobody that are 7-1, and all these Blue Valley and Overland Park teams, and then there's Blue Valley or Mill Valley, and then there's Aquinas. The east side of the bracket is absolutely ridiculous. And I just want to highlight that for a minute.
All right.
And then in 4A, you have Bishop Miege, who wins everything all the time.
Yep.
They're facing 7-1 Lewisburg. So here's Lewisburg that comes, I believe, 1 point away in their last game from being undefeated. I think they lost 14-13. Don't quote me on that. In their final game to go undefeated. And as a reward for that, they get to face Bishop Miege, which finished 1-7 because it played all those other 5A crazy schools in 6A. It's just insane. Just absolutely insane.
So who are you taking in that game?
Which game?
Miege.
Miege and Lewisburg?
Yeah.
Miege by about $1 trillion. No offense to anybody in Lewisburg.
Man.
But there's a lot of games like that. The teams with the worst record are just going to obliterate the other team. And you'll see that in the larger classes more. And then with Miege and 4A, you're not going to see it as much in the smaller classes.
Probably not. Well, it'll be interesting to go through it and hear what you have to say.
It will be interesting to go through it because I've only taken a cursory glance at some of the matchups, and it's like, you don't have a chance. I'm sorry. Nice season, way to go, 6-2, 7-1, but you're finished.
That's odd.
It is weird. Maybe
odd.
Jamie Cruz will have an opinion about that, although he doesn't need to worry about the east side of the bracket.
Not really, if he's on the west side.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he may get to the state championship game. You never know.
You never can tell.
They've had a lot of close defeats this year.
Well, we'll soon find out in a couple weeks.
At 3 o'clock, we're going to talk pop culture in some form. Maybe just the two of us. Maybe we'll get Max on board. Maybe Mike Furchess does call and we hear from him. Maybe he wanders in. I don't know.
Who knows?
We have absolutely no idea the status of Mike Furchess today.
We have no control over the 2 hours we're here,
But
just so everybody knows.
But we are going to talk some pop culture. And at 3:25, Jason, get this.
What?
You won't believe this.
I'm thinking I might.
We're going to talk college flag football.
What?
Yeah, why not?
Well, it'd be crazy not to, but fill me in a little bit.
Bethel has a team.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're good or not. I just found out that there's some flag football teams out in the area. They're having like some Veterans Day triangular in flag football. I don't know how that works. But one of the teams involved was Bethel, so I was like, hey, let's talk some flag football, and let's track down Bethel's coach. Her name is Felicia Teeter.
Okay.
And we're going to talk some flag football.
Interesting.
I hope they're not terrible. But if they are, oh well, who cares?
Well, aren't you basically just trying to figure out what's going on with it?
Pretty much.
Well, yeah, so then who cares if they're good or bad?
That's pretty much it.
We're trying to figure out what's going on here.
Let's.
How many teams? How many games they play? Like now, I'm kind of curious.
Is it
what? I don't know. If you're asking me a question on this, you're not going to get much for an answer.
She was announced as the football coach. the head flag football coach in March. She was appointed, I'm sorry. That's what she came to Bethel from Pratt. Okay. Her coaching philosophy is based on leadership principles she has developed and instilled from her over 30 years of experience with, I bet you can't, I'd give you the rest of your life to finish that sentence. Her over 30 years of experience with.
Is it about sports?
No.
I don't have a clue then.
She has over 30 years of experience with the Department of Defense.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, how many questions can we ask about that?
That may take up the rest of the show.
Is she gonna? If I ask a question, am I gonna get the old "that's classified"?
I mean, you might.
Will I get that?
But we got to ask, right?
Well, we will ask.
She spent 10 years on active duty in the Army and another 20 years as a Department of Defense Air Force civilian, where she led training programs.
Oh, we can find out lots of stuff. Wonder if she knows anything about the Canadian military.
I would have to imagine that she probably does. She was a former varsity tight end fullback coach at Estacado High School in Lubbock.
Lubbock, Texas.
Are there a lot of fullback coaches in high school?
I have no clue. I wouldn't think like just a football coach, but if you're talking Texas, then yeah, maybe. That wouldn't surprise me, right?
Yeah.
Well, would it in
I
Texas?
don't know, would it?
And down there?
Do they need a fullbacks coach?
Well, obviously
Do they
somebody...
have a fullback?
Well, they must have been. If not, she had a great job.
I bet they had a tight end, but did they have a full... Maybe it was some kind of innovative offense where you could use the tight end either way.
Oh, very well could have been.
Maybe a fullback. Anyway, that's our show today. If you would like to join us, you can call 869-1240. That's the IHOP hotline, brought to you by IHOP. Celebrate the weekdays with new IHOP House Faves, all your favorites for just $6 Monday through Friday. You want to know the big topic of the show this week?
What show?
Our show.
You guys had a topic?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
No, you did not.
Oh, well, we got to
I've been
argue.
doing this show for like 7 or 8 years, and I don't know if we've ever had a topic.
What about Tight End University?
Well, that is true. That was
a topic for a long
time.
But
it just kind of popped up, though. It wasn't like a, let's talk about this topic.
Well, this one emerged in the last segment of Monday's show. So it was like one of those, okay, we got like 5 minutes left. Let's throw this out there. We'll both agree. We'll move on, and then next. But we didn't agree, and I still don't agree.
With what?
Just give me your take, and we're going to argue about this.
Well, what if we're on the same take?
There's no chance, because
Okay.
I know you.
All right.
Give me your take on Anthony Richardson asking out of a football game due to fatigue.
Literally ridiculous.
Explain why, because I do not understand why people are making a big deal out of it.
You ever seen a quarterback come off in 50-some-odd years of
Okay,
NFL?
but I've seen offensive linemen come off. I've seen running backs come off. I've seen receivers come off. I've seen defensive backs come off.
So ridiculous.
Okay,
yeah,
go.
of course you've seen them come off.
Right.
That's
What's the
right. They
difference?
usually have a rotation. Or if a guy needs out, then they come out and they got a guy already ready. Do you think Joe Flacco was thinking to himself, oh, he just ran down the field, I better go get ready to run in there?
No, he wasn't
are
ready.
Are you
but
serious?
the guy was tired. Big deal.
Then get in there and hand the ball off on the next play.
I don't know. I don't know what.
Throw a quick out.
I don't know. Maybe
do something.
Maybe I don't know. He was just tired.
Now, first time I'd ever heard, seen, even thought about that.
Tell me why it matters.
Because it's a quarterback. That's the guy running the show.
But tell me why it matters. Would you think
because you've got now you're going in with somebody who's going to control the ball, who hasn't been in the game. You're in a.
It's 3rd and 23.
So what?
You got one play
so
basically
did he come out because he was tired, or did he come out because it's 3rd and 23?
He was tired.
Probably not going to make this anyway. So let's let Joe go in, and then he can. He's not going to be able to do it, and then I don't have to look like I couldn't make the 3rd and 23 play.
You know who has a much better chance of making 3rd and 23 than Joe Flacco? Anthony Richardson, who every completed pass is like 60 yards.
Yeah, so he should have probably stayed in there.
But he didn't.
You literally just made my argument for me. You literally just made the argument.
No, I'm saying we know he was tired. Not that it was, it's 3rd and 23. Like, he didn't quit on his team. He didn't give up. He was just tired.
How have you ever seen a quarterback come out before?
Been tired? No, I haven't seen it.
No,
that
why?
doesn't mean it's a big deal.
Because you don't. You just don't. And if you're going to run around like that, then you should be in shape to be able to do it for a whole game.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson clearly not in shape. The guy
He couldn't finish.
off,
He couldn't play 3 downs on that series.
he was tired.
So he's not in shape to play quarterback.
You're not in shape to
That's
play
what I'm
longer
telling
than
ya.
a 2-minute shift?
That's what I'm telling you.
You're not in shape to play longer than a 90-second shift back in the day?
I've had to do it. Yeah. And I did it. And I didn't ask to come off.
But you came off, right? Why? You were tired.
Oh, a totally different situation. Don't even start that.
So
That's
everybody
utterly
else in sports
ignorant to
can
say
be
something
tired.
like that.
Everybody else in sports can be tired except for a quarterback. He's the only guy who can't be tired.
Why do you think that this is okay? So do you
Because
think
it doesn't
quarterbacks
matter.
should come in and out all the time?
It's not okay.
There's-
It's not okay. It's nothing to me. It's literally nothing.
Who gets the plays sent into them on the offense?
I assume it's the tight
gets
end
it?
fullback.
The tight end and fullback. Yeah, see, you make no sense at all.
Obviously, it's the quarterback.
Okay, so you don't know he's coming off, and the guy's trying to talk to you to get a play in. He's
Third
telling
and
you,
23,
and you're
hand
like,
it.
I don't know, I'm out. Now you're down, and now you got, hey, Joe, go put your shoes on, and where's your helmet, by the way? Did you take your pills so you can get out there at 42 years old? Oh, delay a game, 3rd and 28, make it worse. Come on. You think it's okay?
No, I did not. What did I say?
Basically, you think it's okay.
I don't think it's okay, and I don't think it's not okay. I think it's nothing. I literally believe that. I accept, Jason, that people do not feel the way I do about it. I accept that for whatever reason, they're now looking at Anthony Richardson in a more negative light. I accept, even though the Colts coach said differently, that might even be a reason why he was benched. I think that's stupid. But I don't get it. I don't get it. That's just where I am.
Max, where are you on this? I'm kind of curious.
Well, nobody
Because
agrees
obviously
with
I
me.
know where Bob's at.
He quit on the team. Donovan McNabb was
please.
throwing up in the Super Bowl in the huddle and kept playing. He quit.
And he sucked.
What?
It doesn't matter.
What? And he stayed in the game as the quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh,
Richardson
no.
quit.
So
He
you'd rather
just-
hurt your team.
Richardson.
couldn't take
So you'd
it.
rather hurt your team by being sick or hurt or tired.
You're not hurting your team. You're out there trying to fight for it. And the guys respect that around you, so they fight a little harder. That's the way it works.
As far
you
as I
need to play a
remember-
team game once in a while, man.
I did play a team
No,
game.
you told me you played basketball, which you said I just on the perimeter. They just give me the ball and I shoot.
Is
that
baseball
didn't sound
not
like
a
much
team
of a team
sport?
Baseball is a lot of one-on-one stuff. Pitcher, batter.
You can be tired in baseball. You can be important in
And
baseball.
have you ever seen anybody in baseball pull themselves out of the game just because they were tired?
No, because you don't,
really?
there's not...
Man, we're going through a lot of this sports things where nobody else pulls themselves
Except
off.
everybody, except the lineman, except a guy in basketball who tugs on his jersey. What a loser that guy is, right? He's coming out because he's tired. I've never heard of anything like
Haven't
that. That's
teams
so
in
stupid.
baseball fined and benched players in baseball that didn't run out a ground ball that just stood
Yeah,
there
they were
and
probably tired.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Well, yeah, because they were sitting on the bench for 10 minutes and had to run 90
Right,
feet.
you get a little more rest
Holy
in
man.
baseball than being a quarterback.
Exactly. You get 40 seconds between every play.
You
get 40 seconds between every play in football.
Okay, I'm gonna. Ask
So
you
you're telling me no
I'm gonna
rest?
ask you to go run 100 yards, and then I'll give you 40 seconds to be back to normal.
In order to hand the ball off or throw a quick out?
But
Yeah,
dude is not
sure.
a 23-year-old
Exactly.
guy, however old Richardson is.
Then why does he get to talk about these guys?
You asked me the question.
Because he
Why do you get
And
to criticize?
I've actually played a little bit.
quit on the team.
No,
He quit.
he didn't.
Then why isn't he playing this week?
Because he has a bad coach who should be fired. He has a
Man, just
loser
looking-
coach.
you're
is
just
what he
looking for
has.
excuses
He has
now.
a loser coach. Oh, you get the best chance of winning. When a coach says that, this guy gives us the best chance to win.
That's because he's
you
probably
know
tired.
He has no clue.
He's probably tired of his antics.
No,
Maybe
he has- he has no clue.
Here's the other side of it. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what's going on. 80%, 90% of what's actually happening on a team, we as fans and people watching don't know. You don't know.
Here's what I do know.
Oh,
When
this should be good.
When a coach says, and watch for this every time.
Okay.
When a coach says, so-and-so, quarterback, gives us the best chance to win, you know what that means? he's lost his team.
They say that all the time.
And I know. And it's always when there's a controversy and he's been kind of on the hot seat and maybe guys aren't believing in him as much. No. You know he's lost the team. And Shane Steichen has lost the team.
Not necessarily.
And he should be fired.
Do you think Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco gives that team a better chance to win?
Anthony Richardson.
You are so wrong. You are so wrong.
Bigger weapon.
Bigger weapon?
Yeah, he can run. He throws way downfield.
Jonathan Taylor isn't as effective when he's in the game because he runs. Overall, not as effective as when Joe's in. How are the receivers? How's your passing yards when Joe's in compared to Richardson?
Josh Downs was great last week. Again,
you're going to one game. You're talking about one game. And did they win?
They lost by 3 to the second or third best team in the conference.
Second or third best team in the conference.
Yeah. Let's take a break.
Yeah, let's take a break.
You can stew on that for a little while.
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
You need a break.
You need a break.
Well, we got a football coach coming on. Let's ask the question.
We asked a football guy yesterday. We asked Jesse Newell. We have not asked a coach, but I'll let you deal with that one. I'll let you handle that question.
Fair enough. So I'm going to ask about that and military stuff. I love it.
Well, that's the other guest.
Oh, who we got right now?
The Andover coach.
Well, I can ask both.
He wasn't in the military, I don't think.
No, I know, but I can ask the military coach and I can ask the Andover coach. I can ask them both this question.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Stay with us. Jamie Cruz, the Andover football coach, coming up next. Max Power, our producer engineer, takes us to break. Bob out. Jason Duda in. It's Bob and Jeff on KFH.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
Back to the IHOP hotline, brought to you by IHOP, and talk to Andover football coach Jamie Cruz. He's got the Trojans 4-4 headed into the first round of the 5A playoffs, where they'll be hosting Hayes on Friday. Coach, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
We are doing well. This is a team, obviously, in your first year, coming off a winless season. This year has been much, much better. I know you've been close on about 3 of your defeats, so who knows how this season could have gone. But where do you feel like you are headed into the postseason now?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job coming along. The team has this season. I think we've got a group of seniors that did a great job in the summer, just buying into what was being taught to them offensively and defensively, and what we were asking of them was definitely different than they were used to on both sides of the ball. I think we're not surprised by by our success and then some near successes. But I think we still haven't played a real clean game. We've had turnovers and some coverage busts and some special teams issues where I think any good staff is always trying to fix what they can fix and improve to try to get their team to reach their potential. And I don't think we've played our best game yet. And hopefully we can get there this year. Our kids are fun to work with. They're a great group, and we're excited about this opportunity Friday.
Coach, how difficult is that? Obviously, you coming in as a new coach and you're dealing with kids, 15 to 18 years old, and obviously having to learn a new system. How long does that take? I got to think it probably takes longer than just a few games. And like you said, you haven't played a clean game yet. So with that being said, what are a couple of the toughest things to get the guys to buy into when a new coach comes in?
Well, I think anytime, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but, anytime I've went into whether it be an assistant coach or being a head coach, just being somebody new, the kids don't, they don't know if they can trust you. Do you have their best interest in mind? Just what type of coaching style you're going to have and what you're going to expect of them. Really, just like anybody deals when they're dealing with young people, and really anybody's what okay, what's expected of me? What can I get away with? How hard do I have to work? And that's kind of the general mindset, I think, of a lot of people. But I think this group is maybe not quite like that. They were eager to learn, and then specifically maybe with what we do offensively. Anytime you're not in gun and running RPOs and throwing the ball around a bunch, it's different. That used to be what was different. Back in the 80s and 90s, that was like, if you were doing that, you were different. If you weren't, under center, two back, running power and toss and ISO, then that was out of the norm. So now, our blocking's a little bit different. We ask a little bit different pad level out of the kids. Obviously, quarterbacks in the option game have to understand option count and different reads and all the tags that go along with it. And usually, this is the third school that I've been involved with where we've installed this type of offense, and we're much farther along than a lot of times. I mean, sometimes we're making corrections and we kind of forget, God, this is year one, or hey, this was like week 3 or 4, and this is already stuff that a lot of times we don't even have in yet. So the kids are doing a great job, but we can trust them to work hard, and whether we've had some successes, so that is easier. If you're not going through a season where you're having loss after loss, but we can trust them whether they've won or lost. They come to practice ready to work, and again, luckily we've been able to win some games, and 3 of the 4 losses we've had, we were within a score, 7 points or less. So I think that's again easier to come and work hard when that's the outcomes.
Jamie Cruz, our guest, the head football coach at Andover High School. So when could you tell mentally? Obviously, we mentioned that you weren't there last year, but when could you tell that these kids had put last year behind them? Did you know that? First day of practice? Was it going into the first game? Was it when you hung with Capon? Was it that first win against Mays? And what's it been like? Not having to battle uphill with these kids, that they experienced some success early.
Yeah, well, I think that was key. But when you go back and say when we felt like we could trust them, or they were on board, I knew we knew we were going to have a good senior class. Talking with Coach Dusenberry, they had a down year the previous year, but 2 years prior to that, they'd won 7 games and lost 3 really close games to good teams. So they had known some success, within recent years. And then just knowing, watching film, or it's been some other times where you watch film, you say, oh, that kid was really good. That kid's good. That kid's good. And it's like, well, senior, when you're watching the years before. But they had a lot of kids as juniors, and sophomores playing for them last year. And so, we knew specifically that there were some kids that, were pretty tough. And I knew when we came in and we had 4 or 5 kids, legitimately 4 kids for sure, and probably more, that could have played quarterback for us. And that's a rarity anywhere I've been. Usually you're lucky to have 1, maybe 2. But we had at least 4 kids that was like, hey, if they're lined up at quarterback, we're not in trouble. Like, we can still win games. And thankfully, we did have that, because we'd lost at one point or other in the season. We've lost 3 different quarterbacks. Tanner Woolston was going to be a great athlete for us back there, and he tore his ACL in the summer. He's a 3-sport athlete here at Andover, and looks like he's going to be able to get back, hopefully, for baseball season. But he was a basketball player as well. And then just to the quarterback spot, and then we had Will Quinn broke a bone in his hand, and we had Ryan Hatfield have a neck injury where he ended up sitting out the rest of the year. Will's been able to come back. So we had Quincy Jonas, who's now our quarterback. In the summertime, he was in the mix of battling for that, number 1 spot. But really, we thought he was going to play slot or maybe receiver and be a starter on defense. So I just knew when I talked to coaching buddies, I'm like, gosh, it's no joke. We really have 4 kids that they could all play quarterback, and as it worked out through the season, that was really a need for us. to have multiple guys to be able to do that. But again, it just goes back to their ability to learn and ability to work hard, and that's paid off.
Well, you talked about some of your seniors, your quarterback spot. Well, how about some of the other kids that have really stood out for you this year, offensively and defensively?
Yeah, I really could list everybody. I mean, our offensive line, if you look at them, we're not a real big group, but they play with good pad level. I think Tate Hutchinson gets, and rightly so, gets noticed because he's a multi-sport kid. He's a good wrestler. And he plays right tackle for us. Awesome leader. He's a kid where he's asking questions. Very seldom do I have linemen that will text me, plays, or he'll text me a video of a play and just ask me a quick question over the weekend. And sometimes you'll get that from quarterbacks or maybe receivers, but I haven't had a lot of offensive linemen text me, ask if hey, is this the same scheme we're running? Maybe a video from another college, from a college or something, or a video from our game on Friday, and asking, what if the guy does this? What's the, because we'll have different tags for the O-line. But so he's a kid that is very cerebral but also a very good competitor and a tough kid. So I think he's done a great job for us. But really, all of our offensive linemen, have done well. And then when you talk about defensively, some of those guys play. Tate's a starter on the D-line as well. Tristan Winfield's another kid that we lost. He was arguably our best defensive lineman. Him and Tate were both really good, and Tristan got a lot of quarterback pressures, and he tore his ACL a few weeks back. So that was another pretty good loss for us. But again, defensively, they've had other guys step up and play well. Again, Tate plays along that defensive line. Another guy, Luke Farley, he plays outside linebacker. He's had a really good year. He's played both sides of the ball, more on defense, but he's a good outside linebacker for us. But again, all those guys have done good. We played really good team defense, which has allowed us, to get off the field at times. And again, the type of offense we play, typically you have, you're controlling the clock and you're winning the time of possession, which helps rest some of those defensive guys.
Jamie Cruz, our guest, he's the football coach at Andover. They've got Hayes this week in the first round of the 5A playoffs. So I'm interested, obviously, in your background as a former college coach here in the state, and you've been a high school coach in the state now for about 11, 12 seasons. So what has gone into some of the moves that you've made? How do you kind of come to those decisions? And what was appealing about Andover for you?
I think whenever you think about making a move, and you obviously think about what's best for your family, and then hey, is this going to be a good move long term? And sometimes situations change, and maybe things weren't. The grass isn't always green on the other side. But I think when we left the college setting, I started, having a family and more, more kids come along. And so we thought, well, I want to be around a little bit more. And certainly now it would be tough with the college recruiting landscape. But we just felt when the kids were young, I wanted to have a little more set schedule where I wouldn't be on the road recruiting as much. And then, there were some opportunities that came open and had the opportunity to go to Pratt. And that was a really nice setup. A great community, really good support, good community support. They'd had some success. They had a really good couple classes coming up. And so, that worked out well. And then, so whenever you look at making a move, whether it was, when I change college jobs or change high school jobs, you try to do what's best for, long-term with your family. And coming to Andover, I think, one, I knew they would have a group of kids that could learn what we're doing, and be a group that could handle the different things we're doing offensively. But more importantly, I think when I met with the administration, I heard a lot of good things about the admin, building admin, and the district admin. Obviously, Andover Central's had a lot of success recently. So just talking to some people there and and what they felt could happen here over at Andover. And again, knew about the senior class that was going to be good. We had there's some room for growth with different aspects of the program, but I knew there was a good solid base here. And then when I started talking to more people I trusted that knew the admin and knew some of the assistant coaches, and then talking to some of the assistant coaches, it just seemed like and I had a first team meeting. When I ended up taking the job and met with the players, I think all that was confirmed. I mean, they're a good group of guys and fun to work with.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we appreciate you making time for us this afternoon. Congratulations on the solid season you've had so far. I know you want to go much farther. Good luck against Hayes on Friday.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right, thanks a lot. There goes Jamie Cruz.
He's gone.
Former coach at Pratt. They won a state championship there back in, I want to say 2016.
Sure, I'll go with that. I don't know.
Pratt's still a solid program.
Well,
in the 3A ranks.
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
It's all crazy.
What's crazy about it, though?
I had to figure that. It took me forever to understand the 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A stuff when I got down here, because obviously where I went to high school, you just played the town next to you and away you went. Didn't matter if it was Grand Prairie with 30,000 and Sexsmith with 1,200. You played each other.
That's what happened. Here are the matchups on the 5A west side of the bracket. You tell me which one you think makes the Friday 5 this week. Because there is one.
Okay.
We have...
Have you already done the Friday 5?
No, it's coming out Friday, but I've got the games picked.
Okay.
Actually, there are two.
Two?
Yeah. Great Bend Newton,
okay.
Andover Hayes, Hutchinson Salina South, Liberal Bishop Carroll. That used to be the game in 5A. Eisenhower Emporia, May South Salina Central, Topeka Seaman Topeka West, Goddard Valley Center.
May South game.
Yeah, May South Salina Central. Salina Central just thumped Goddard last week. What's going on with that? And then, of course, Andover Hayes is going to be in the Friday 5.
I figured that.
Mays will be in the Friday 5 this week.
Whoa!
Mays has an interesting game against...
Who do they got? I haven't even looked.
Topeka Washburn Rural. One of those teams that, plays everybody. They played Blue Valley. They played Blue Valley Northwest. They played Manhattan. So they're 3-5. But you feel like that's not a team you want to see in the first round of the playoffs.
No, probably not. But where's that game at?
It's in Mays. You'll have to go.
Might have to trounce out there, depending on the weather, of course.
That's an interesting ball game.
Could be interesting.
I think it will be. Anyway, let's take a break.
Well, so they're playing Washburn Rural. That's funny because I think the soccer team was just up there to play Washburn Rural.
Washburn Rural is one of those teams that you run into a lot.
Then my daughter played a girl from Washburn Rural in state. What's going on in Mays and Washburn Rural?
They
just started a rivalry.
They're always in state, and they're always pretty good at everything. They're good at girls basketball. They just lost to Derby by a basket. Maybe they beat Derby. I don't remember, but that was a great game in last year's 6A tournament. Can I get into this 5A East bracket with you a little bit?
You've been eager to, so yeah, go ahead.
I know it's not earth-shattering stuff, but we're toward the end of an hour.
Yeah.
We're going to reset the show coming up at hour number 2 with some pop culture. Maybe Mike Furchess calls. I don't know. I have no idea. I assume not, but you don't know. So the 116 is going to be an absolute bloodletting, of course, which 116s usually are. That's Aquinas and Casey Turner. But that's about the only normal matchup in the 5A bracket. Highland Park is the 8 at 6-2, but we remember after their shutout streak, they lost 74-6 to East and then 62-21 to Atchison. They're going to get absolutely pummeled by Pittsburgh.
You think?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you have Shawnee Mill Valley against KC Harmon. Mill Valley the 4, which is unfortunate for the 5 because Mill Valley is going to destroy KC Harmon. And then
what are their records?
KC Harmon's 2-6, Mill Valley 7-1. Their only loss is to Lee Summit North, which is a powerhouse in Missouri. they put it to a lot of good teams in Kansas.
So the 2 and 6 is the 5 seed? Is that what I understood there?
2 and 6 is the 13.
Oh, 13-5.
Yeah, well, that's the 4-13 matchup.
Oh, 4-13, okay.
Yeah, it's 1-6, you know.
I got you.
So we're not quite to the 4-5 match. That's the next round. But then Spring Hill, 7-1 against Shawnee Heights, 2 and 6. But Shawnee Heights has lost to Washburn Rural, Baser Linwood, which is good, DeSoto, which is good. I mean, Seaman, Lansing, Leavenworth. All these schools are good. So are they gonna beat Spring Hill?
Probably.
Which is only beaten Bonner Springs, Tonganoxie, Eudora, Casey Piper, Paola, Emporia, and Lewisburg, which we know in the 4A tournament faces Miege, and they're going to get smoked.
True.
And I feel bad for Lewisburg.
I know.
And then you have DeSoto at 7-1. Again, who have they beaten? Nobody. They beat Shawnee Heights. And then you have Blue Valley North at 1-7, but they've lost to Blue Valley Southwest, which is good. Blue Valley West, Blue Valley, St. James, Miege, and Aquinas. And that team's going to win at, what did I say? They're going to beat 7-1 DeSoto at 1-7.
What are their seeds?
2 and 15.
Who's the 2?
DeSoto at 7-1.
And they're going to get thumped.
By Blue Valley North. Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
It is interesting. And then you have KC Washington at 6-2. They're bad.
They're bad?
They're bad. They lost 55-6 to Atchison, and they lost to Highland Park.
Oh, my.
Which we already established is not good.
Nah, the roundabout here is crazy.
It is crazy. And they played Leavenworth, which they haven't beaten anybody either, but they're going to pummel 7-seed KC Washington.
Yeah, but they haven't beat anybody either, you said. So,
but they're going to pummel
I think that's going to be a close game.
KC Washington. And I'm going to check in with you this weekend after all these games have happened.
Good.
Then you have Baser Linwood at 7-1. Who have they beat? Nobody. They beat DeSoto. That's a good win.
Well, there you go.
But they play Blue Valley Southwest, which is 2-6, which beat Miege, which beat Blue Valley North, and they're going to pummel Baser Linwood as the 14 seed. So right now we've got the 15 advancing, we've got the 14 advancing. It's topsy-turvy. And then finally, 6-11 Blue Valley. This might be the game of the week.
6-11?
This is the matchup. 6 versus 11.
Okay.
6-seed Blue Valley, which has lost only to Aquinas and Blue Valley West, which Blue Valley West is a 6A school. They play St. James, which is 3-5, but their losses are to Aquinas, Blue Valley Northwest, Blue Valley, St. Pius X in Kansas City, and Blue Valley West. They also beat Miege, which is going to win the 4A title, or at least get to the championship game. And they beat Blue Valley North and Capon. These games are wild.
That is some crazy stuff right there.
Doesn't that kind of interest you?
Well, yeah, because you're kind of feel bad for the teams that had a good season,
and they're just
because they're playing who they normally can play, and then you're going to go in and get pumped.
You've got this section of 5A, which is like away from the northeast part of the state, and they don't play anybody. And then you have the 5A state part of the state in the northeast part of the state, and they just beat up on each other all year, and they're going to beat these teams like a drum. No offense.
Like a drum.
And then in the West bracket, you got games that are also predictable, but the good teams are going to win those. The better record teams are going to win those games, right? You're not going to see Topeka West rise up and beat Topeka Seaman. It's not going to happen. Emporia is not going to beat Goddard Eisenhower. Salina South will not beat Hutchinson. Newton will not beat Great Bend.
There you have it.
So there you have it. That's the 5A bracket.
Crazy.
It's wild.
It's just crazy.
I can't wait to see what happens.
This football stuff's nuts.
But I'm going to tell you what happens.
Oh, whoa.
Aquinas and Mill Valley are going to play in the semis. And they're in the East, the East semis. I think it's tough. I don't know who's going to win that game. But the winner of that game is going to go to the championship. And they'll play the Andover Central's 4A. They will play, I have no idea who. Great Bend, I guess. and then Great Bend is going to get smashed.
We should have, you know what we should have maybe did for this?
What?
Is we should have maybe used the
Sim Gin
Simgin
for
because
some scores?
the Simgin struggled when it came out of retirement last week.
It did? I thought it got them all right.
It didn't. I know.
I forgot to check.
I know it had taken the Yankees to win Game 1, which didn't happen. Then it took the Yankees to win the series in 6, which can't happen.
I thought it said Dodgers.
Took Nashville to win that night. They lost.
No, Nashville won,
and
right?
then we didn't know. And then the Oilers as well, and they lost. So the Sim Gym, I don't know. Maybe, there must have been a button that wasn't pushed.
I think something happened.
When you were putting in and generating all the information,
Yes.
it mustn't have got it correctly.
I think that's exactly
That's the only thing I can think of.
I can't think of anything else.
Because the Sim Gyms never went 0 for 6
no,
before.
it's been reliable.
It's normally 6-0 and then 5-1 once in a while, but they didn't know like there was a big snowstorm coming in.
Something
That's
happened.
not right because you can't put that in.
It must be our fault. We forgot to input something.
Well, it's not. We know it's not the Sim Gym.
No, it never has.
No,
been.
not a chance.
But that's a look at your 5A bracket. Maybe we'll Sim Gin it tomorrow and get on Bob's nerves.
Oh, that'd be great.
I think it would too.
I think it'd be fantastic.
Hour number 2 coming up. Some pop culture talk maybe when we come back. Either it'll be the three of us or Mike Furchess will call. We have no idea, but we're going to talk pop culture. Come hell or high water. Stay with us. Hour 2, Bob and Jeff.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Jeff Lutz.
Like, why can't I be strong? Have you seen this right here, man? Feeling strong right now.
Don't gasp, I'm so excited.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
They're not sure where that came from, but sure.
Where's your sense of humor, man?
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Don't touch that dial.
Welcome back, hour number 2. Bob and Jeff, we got a lot done in hour number 1.
How did we?
So much.
It's crazy.
If you missed any of it, be sure to get that Odyssey app. You can find our show easily. Just find KFH. You'll be directed to go back earlier in the day to find previous shows. And there we are. And you can find more of our shows there, too. Not just today's. It's really unbelievable.
Is it?
I think so.
That's fantastic news.
You can take it on the road with you. Just set it up on KFH. Plug it into your speaker. Do what you got to do in your car, and just you go. That's what I do.
I didn't know.
Are we off the air?
Maybe.
No, it's a weekly test of your emergency broadcast.
Are we going to be off the air? Aren't you like not allowed to have that go over the air?
No, it just you can't shut that speaker off when that thing comes over.
I think we're going to be fined and fired for this, but not my problem, I guess. Pop culture talk. We have not, and I assume will not, hear from our friend Mike Furchess.
Probably the man's not feeling well.
Do you have any pop culture tidbits that you'd like to offer up right now?
Man, we did just finish. I don't know. Have you ever watched The Lincoln Lawyer? Have you watched the movie or the series?
I might have watched the movie a while ago.
The series is it's really good. Really good. And we just watched the third season just came out. We just finished watching it.
Who's the star of that show?
Oh, what's his name?
You know I don't know any celebrities.
And I don't know his name either. Just a second. I'm going to have to try to find it.
Matthew
McConaughey, but it's not him.
In this iteration, it is, of course, doesn't even say. Mickey Holler's the name of the character.
Mickey Holler is the character.
Yes, the actor, of course, is...
Well, who is it?
You know who it is. Manuel Garcia Rulfo.
Yeah.
Neve Campbell's in this show?
Yeah, she's in the first couple. She's in the...
So she dies, is what you're talking about.
No, she's in the third one, too. She's just not in it as much. But I think... Who else was in that? I can't. I'm not exactly sure. You're talking to the wrong guy when it comes to that stuff. But I'll tell you what. If you want a series to watch, go watch it.
Maybe I will.
Like starting obviously the first one,
first season,
and it's one of those ones that got me and my wife, as soon as we started, we watched the first one, had to watch the next one, and then it was like, okay, tomorrow we're watching the next one. It's one of those
three seasons to dive into.
And they're good. We basically binged the third season. We watched it in 3 days.
I love it.
And it is fantastic. So
they're about 10 season episodes.
They're
10
about
episode seasons.
10 each. They're about 50 minutes long, anywhere from 50 to an hour, kind of.
And they're all out right now.
All of them. They drop them all, so you don't even have to wait for anything.
That's fantastic. 30 episodes just sitting there waiting for me.
It's where I know you're not going to watch Slapshot because that's been years now.
I think I did watch Slapshot.
No, you didn't.
I just have forgotten a lot about it.
Oh, is that what you forgot?
So if you ask me a question about it, I probably won't remember.
Oh, that's right.
But at the time, you remember I rattled off bits of trivia and facts about the movie.
Right. And what were the three tough guys' names?
The Larsons.
No.
The Jones brothers.
Oh, it's so painful.
You know who they are.
I do.
The Hansons. Is that not what I said?
You finally found them. Good job.
What did I say?
Oh, the Larsons, the Joneses.
Yeah, Larson. Because they're played by Carlson, Jeff Carlson. So I kind of got them mixed up. Carlson, Hanson.
Oh, is that what happened?
I think that's what happened.
You're going to, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Hanson brothers, like the band.
So what are the chances of you actually watching this series? This might be something you should watch with your wife. She'd probably like
90%.
She'd probably like this one.
We just got into a show, but it's not a Netflix show, so we got to wait a week. I think we're up to actually last night's episode. So we do have one episode to watch. It's a show on ABC. It's called High Potential.
It's awesome.
You watched that?
Yeah, we've already watched them all.
You watched all of them?
Oh, except last night's. We didn't watch last night's, obviously.
That's on Hulu. Is that where you watch it also, Hulu, or something else?
We just got it DVR'd.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's a really good series.
It's a fantastic show. That's another one that kind of just, you got to watch the next one, which I'm glad that we had 5 to watch initially.
Oh, you got to watch. See, we've been watching them just one at a time, which kind of drives us nuts, but it's okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I knew the show. I saw that the woman from Scrubs, Judy Reyes, who plays, I guess, the captain, I knew she was in a show. I didn't really know what it was. And then once I started watching the show, and then like she's in it, obviously not the main character, but it plays a big part. I'm like, okay, I'll watch this, and then it's good. And we kept watching.
So we're on the Lincoln Lawyer, which we're done now, and then High Potential is the other one, and then Matlock with Kathy Bates.
Is that good?
It's awesome.
Huh?
Tell
me about it.
Just watch one. Well, it's like the old. She's trying to. It's one of those ones where there's a backstory that's going to be going through the whole season. And they obviously, it's lawyers and they're trying to get somebody off of charges or trying to, one of those things. But there's a backstory that's inside it. And I don't want to tell you because it'll ruin the first show for you.
Okay. Well,
so I don't want to tell you because it was just like, really?
Can you answer this question for me?
What?
Obviously, we remember Matlock, Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
Back in the day, made the character famous. Is this a descendant? Is this a reboot? Are we just saying Matlock's a woman now? What are we doing with that?
No, and I can't tell you because it'll make perfect sense after you watch the first episode. It'll make perfect sense. It's worth watch. I'll tell you what, it's worth watching the first episode, and it's only 40 minutes long.
All right,
because it's on. Is it on ABC too, or is it on CBS?
The best network.
Of course, yeah. In Jeff's opinion, anyways. So
who would have a different opinion?
So I would. Those are the two. If you haven't watched anything and you got something to watch, those are 3 that I would definitely say you're not going to waste your time.
Well, what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to cook dinner.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to have a little nap first or a little rest.
Oh, of
hang
course.
out with the kiddies, and then I'll make dinner.
Yeah.
And then we'll sit down and we'll watch High Potential, last night's episode.
Yeah.
And then we'll bump over to Matlock.
Yeah, try Matlock. Because once you get into Lincoln Lawyer, you won't try anything else. You'll want to keep watching that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, there's too many episodes.
And there's only 2. I think there's only 2 Matlocks out right now.
That's it?
Yeah, because they aired the first one, and then it had 2 weeks before they showed the second one.
Yeah, CBS has been...
I don't know why. Well, 2 weeks off, so 3 weeks total until you got the second episode.
CBS has been behind in their releasing of the shows. Why can... I want to get the season 1 episodes for this year. Yeah, there's been 3 actually.
Has there been 3?
The pilot on September 22nd, and then one on October 17th and 24th, and there's another one tomorrow. So we'll have 4 to watch this week.
They're good.
I like it.
They're good, but jump into the Lincoln Lawyer too. That could be a binge day.
I don't want to.
If it's raining all weekend, might be like a little binge session.
Maybe we'll go camping, take the TV, hook it up to our hotspot, and just watch shows all day.
Nothing wrong with that.
Wouldn't that be just lovely?
I think it'd be great.
What a day that'd be.
Oh, heaven. Absolute heaven.
The other show I'm watching is Papa's House on, of course, CBS.
I don't know that one.
Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr.
Oh.
2 of the funniest people ever on this planet.
Really?
Are you familiar with their work?
I know who the Wayans brothers are.
Yeah,
the
Wayans brother
watch
is
their show.
Damon, and then his son, Damon Wayans Jr., obviously.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're quite funny, and I like the show a lot.
Well, then there you go. I'm happy for you.
Are you a Big Bang Theory? Did you like Big Bang?
Yeah, we watched it.
Because I'm looking forward to the spinoff.
It's out already.
Stuart, Denise, and Bert?
Yeah, George
coming.
and Mandy's first wedding.
No. There's another one coming.
There's another one? How many Big Bang shows do we need?
Stuart, Bert, and Denise.
Bert, and Denise.
Stuart was great in that show. And Bert. And Denise was Stuart's girlfriend. I'm looking forward to that when it comes. And maybe Penny will come back.
It is apparently has sabotaged its chances of being successful with this one detail. And it's one of those articles where you have to read 19 paragraphs to get to the actual...
Was that about Leonard being dead?
Is it? Is Leonard dead?
No. They said it'll solve it when it comes.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
It's impossible
No idea.
to know.
They summarized that from the last Young Sheldon when he didn't mention Leonard, he just kept mentioning Penny.
All right, then.
That should be good, though, because Stuart was great in that show, and Bert.
What? What is... Do you have any people trick-or-treating tomorrow? Is your son going out? Is your daughter going out?
No.
They aren't?
No.
So what are you doing?
Well, I forgot it was Halloween, so does that tell you what I'm doing? Probably nothing.
You're going to watch Matlock.
There's a good chance. What's tomorrow? Thursday?
Yeah. Matlock's on Thursdays.
Thursday.
So what's you're not even going to go get some candy for yourself?
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
No, I'll go to the store and get my own candy. I'm
That's
not
what
going to walk around and go to houses to get candy.
Moron.
What are they going to say? What are you dressed up as?
absolute idiot.
I'm a grown man and I'm from Canada. That's my costume. What do you think?
Well, they'd probably give you candy thinking you were mentally challenged.
Can I have a popsicle or maybe a little whatever?
Obviously,
I don't even know what they give out anymore.
Obviously,
candies
I'm going to the store. What do you think I meant?
I thought you meant Are you going out to
You're doing a Bob right now, and I don't like it. You're doing a Bob. You're talking over people when you're wrong. And
I'm not wrong. No. I thought you meant, are you going to go out and get candy? That makes you sound like when you're talking about Halloween, are you going to go out and get candy?
Moron.
What? You're a moron.
I meant if your kids are trick-or-treating, they're going to bring home some candy, right?
Yep.
And you're probably going to eat some of that candy.
That's not mine.
Isn't his kids in high school? Do high school kids trick-or-treat
I don't
still?
think
My
so.
daughter did for when maybe her first year. I wanted to kill her, but that's beside the point. It was a bad idea.
See?
Maybe
exactly.
Maybe your kids are doing bad idea stuff too. Anyway, you took their candy. Shut up. The point is...
What? I did not take their
candy.
candy.
You didn't take their candy.
Don't tell me to shut up because I didn't take their candy.
You absolutely
did. Don't even sit over there like an idiot that you're looking like right now.
100% you took their candy.
Did not take their candy.
Not one piece ever.
Didn't take their candy.
One piece ever.
Not in the last few years. Maybe when they were younger.
Not in the last few years, but...
no.
God, what a liar.
I have my own candy.
What?
Because when I go to the store to get candy, I bought candy I want. That way I'd always have some left over, so that's the candy I'd eat. We'd have to take half of their candy away anyway. You should see the bags of candy these kids would come home with. Utterly ridiculous.
Right. So what
Like,
did you
utterly ridiculous.
What did you like to take from them?
I didn't. My wife usually took it and took it to work, and the girls shared it there. I never really took any of their candy.
God, you just can you just
candy corn?
have a conversation?
I don't eat candy corn. It's terrible.
I didn't ask you about candy corn.
Candy corn is
Why
terrible.
Why do you feel like you need to bring up candy corn?
Candy corn's the worst candy out there.
Worse than Mounds?
Mounds are fantastic.
No, they're not. Anything with coconut in it.
Oh, Almond Joys are one of my favorite. Speaking
of weird, you're so
coconut.
Worse than Good and Plenty. Ugh.
There's a lot of bad candies out
Good
there.
and Plenty.
There are,
and you know
that's
what?
why you don't eat it out of.
You shouldn't participate in eating bad candy. The good candies, you got your Nestle Crunch, you got your Kit Kat, you got your 100 Grand, you got your Starburst, your Mike and Ike's, your Skittles, your Jolly Ranchers. I mean, there's so many good candies. I'm gonna have a Mounds. This guy over here, unbelievable.
If there was a Mounds, I would eat it before
what
most
do you
of those.
get out of eating a Mounds?
Coconut. You don't like coconut?
No, nobody likes coconut.
Well, I do. So not everybody hates coconut, Jeff.
You don't like coconut. Again, a lie.
What are you talking
I think
about?
You're just. You
ever had a coconut cream pie?
Of course not.
Oh, it's
He doesn't
fantastic.
eat pie. You don't know that?
Oh, I know that, but I'm just asking because it's coconut.
I've
It's the only
got,
thing I can think of, Max, right off the top of my head.
Yeah, because nothing is coconut flavored because coconut sucks.
Coconuts are good.
You haven't had coconut, pineapple, Haagen-Dazs ice cream?
Don't get me started
come
on
on.
pineapple. Also
On
disgusting.
pineapple?
Disgusting.
Are you out to lunch?
Absolutely vomit
You're the
inducing.
weirdest dude
Gag
ever.
reflex to the max.
Pineapple. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Got some in the fridge. Come over.
I'd rather die.
Dip it in chocolate. Oh, it's even better.
Yeah, everything's better when you dip it in chocolate.
Well, then don't. Just eat it plain. I do that all the time.
I'd rather die.
Get a pineapple, cut it in strips. Oh, it's nothing better.
I got 2 days, man.
2 days of what? Pineapple and
2
coconut.
days of
Try it.
Of binging on candy. I'm going no sweets November.
Maybe that's why.
You want to go no sweets November with me?
No sweets November.
Yeah.
What's that mean? What can't I have?
You can't have cookies, you can't have donuts, you can't have cake, you can't
Anything
have
with
candy, you
sugar.
can't have ice cream.
Anything with sugar?
Yeah.
Basically.
In November?
No sweets November.
Except
Thanksgiving.
on Thanksgiving?
You can have your pumpkin pie or your coconut cream, which is not a sweet.
No, we don't have coconut cream pies and stuff on Thanksgiving.
What do you?
But
By the way, I meant to
sweet
wish you-
potato pie. My wife makes an unbelievable sweet potato pie, and if that's there, I'm eating it
You can eat that.
with whipped cream.
Sure. Thanksgiving's an
Okay,
exception.
you know what? I can do that.
I'll also give you the day after for leftovers.
What day is Thanksgiving? What's the date?
It's a Thursday.
this year? No.
Yes, it is.
Is it the 23rd?
It's a Thursday.
No, is it the 20th?
It's the 28th.
Oh,
Oh, it's late.
Late
be
this
the,
year. Yeah, we got to wait. We got almost
that'll
a
be the
month to go.
50th anniversary of John Lennon's last live appearance ever with Elton John.
There
On
you
the
go.
28th?
Yes.
Today's the anniversary of the Rumble in the Jungle.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Why would anybody fight in Zaire, South?
That's
I don't
who
get that.
sponsored the fight.
That
That's who
in
put
the
up the money.
that in the fight of in the Philippines with Joe Frazier, those two made no
A billion
sense.
people watch the Rumble in the Jungle.
Yes, but
a billion.
Yeah, but why? I don't
I
get
just
those
got three
venues.
Just got three
just
texts.
don't.
Coconut's great. Coconut's great. What's he talking about?
What's he talking about? He's
Yeah,
talking
what's
about
he talking
something
about?
you will never
And
understand.
pineapples,
guy.
Dad? You're the weirdest man ever.
Well, you can take it up with me at 3:45.
Just absolutely.
Right now, we've got an interview with one of the great flag football coaches in the area, Felicia Teeter, Bethel's flag football coach. We're going to talk flag football. I got a thing coming up.
You
They're
got a thing
participating.
coming up?
No, they do.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what you were doing.
And we're going to see what's going on.
I was
in
hoping you were going to go play flag football. That'd have been great. I'd have went to see that.
I can score from the one. Stay with us.
We're still waiting for that.
Felicia Teeter coming up. Bob and Jeff, KFH.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
Let's go back to the IHOP hotline and talk to the flag football coach at Bethel College in North Newton. Her name is Felicia Teeter. Felicia, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I think you were named flag football coach at Bethel earlier this year. It's obviously a program that's getting off the ground. How do you go about building a flag football program?
So, I mean, I think it's like any kind of program, whether you're in sports or not, you kind of have to identify, like, what are the requirements, what are the needs, who's my target audience. Bethel was an easy sell when I got on the road, just because it's got such a great educational opportunity and the environment's so good. And I was coaching at Pratt before this. And so when I came over here, obviously it's a different sales pitch than when I was at the JUCO. But luckily there's a lot of people that are really interested in it. So we have recruited a team of girls from across the country, from Washington State all the way to Georgia, Texas, you name it. We've got kids from one coast to the other that have come here to North Newton to play flag football at Bethel.
Well, and so how many games do you play? Can you give not just us, but
sure.
the listeners a little rundown of who you're playing, when you're playing, what the rules are? Just give us a quick 101.
Sure. So flag football is still considered an emerging sport with the NAIA. Right now there's more teams playing at the NAIA level than at any other division, though we've now had some D3s pick it up this calendar year. So the season is in the spring. We go concurrently with softball and track as far as when we play. But and there's some D2s that are now hiring coaches to bring it on board as well. And there's like maybe one D1. But because the NAIA is the biggest conference, KCAC has got the number 1 and number 2 teams in the nation the past 3 years that it's been are both in the KCAC. And that's Ottawa and Kansas Westland. But we have 10 different colleges in the KCAC that are playing. 4 of them are from outside the state that are playing as affiliate members to the KCAC. 2 from Missouri, 1 from Iowa, and 1 from Nebraska. But the heart of it is all in Kansas. Our season, like I said, starts in the spring. And this year we have, since we have 10 teams in the conference, we'll play 9 non-conference games. And depending on the schools, how many non-conference games they'll play. For Bethel, since it's our first year and I have a team full of freshmen, I kind of kept the number low. So we'll play 15 total games in the season when we start. And when I say spring, it's really winter. We start at the end of February is when our season starts. So it's still pretty cold. Yeah. Now, right now we're in our off season. Just like tackle football has their off season in the spring, our off season is in the fall. So we're allowed 10 weeks to actually do football. And we're culminating with, and this I'm pretty excited about, we're culminating with a 3-way scrimmage with Cotty College and Pratt Community College at Pratt. And what's special about it is we're doing it on Veterans Day, and all 3 of the head coaches are all female veterans. Myself and Abby Munson from Pratt are both Army veterans, and Alicia Freeman from Cotty is an Air Force veteran. And so obviously the 3 of us see each other all the time recruiting, and we thought this was a great opportunity to kind of showcase, get our girls a chance to play like kind of a goodwill scrimmage, but also kind of highlight what women veterans are doing around the place. And also, since flag football is an emerging sport, we just thought it would be fun all the way around.
Felicia,
so that's coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, November 11th. That's one of the reasons, basically the main reason I wanted to get you on was to talk a little bit about that, and we will here in just a second talk a little bit more about it. Felicia Teeter, our guest, the Bethel flag football coach. So I was interested when you talked about recruiting, and I don't know how much of a sport in high schools that flag football is, but let's use the example. You don't have to talk about the particular player, but when you go out to Washington or you're looking at somebody in Washington, is it because, hey, this is a great basketball player, and we think she could convert. This girl is great at ultimate frisbee, and we think she could convert to flag football. Or are these people actually playing flag football somewhere in an organized fashion?
So that's a great question. Most of the states I recruited athletes from are actually playing it as a sanctioned high school sport. So the number keeps increasing as far as the states that are having it as a sanctioned sport. So how I recruit is really the same way a lot of us recruit tackle football players. I know a lot of coaches around the country. I used to coach high school tackle football in Texas. And so through networking, through AFCA, American Football Coaches Association, National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches, I've met different coaches around the country. And as flag is coming on, a lot of times the first coach that they go to help stand up their girls' flag program is someone who's coaching on the tackle side. And so because of different networking, a lot of those coaches know me. So in that example we did of the girl from Washington, I knew her high school coach from the tackle side. And when he was getting ready to have to start a flag team, he had called me early on and asked me, like, hey, how do you translate some of the concepts? Like, how are you doing this? And then I said, hey, after we get done with the conversation, if you have any girls that show up this year that look good, give me a holler. So he let me know he had a couple athletes. So I have him fill out a recruiting questionnaire. But Georgia is huge. Nevada is huge. Florida has been doing it for like 10 years as a sanctioned sport. I'm getting ready to go down to Oklahoma next week because they sanctioned it. This year is their first year that Oklahoma is having it as a sanctioned high school sport. Now, as far as other athletes, like because we're a Kansas school, I want to have Kansas athletes. And those are definitely girls I've recruited from basketball, track. And my thing is if you're athletic and coachable, I'll teach you. I mean, we're still at the emerging sport level, so there's still room for some of those kids where you can bring them on. Well, maybe in 5 or 6 years it will be hard for a kid who hasn't already played at the high school level to play collegiately, but right now that's not the case. So I'll take any athletic, coachable kid, and then we'll work on it. And I kind of joke, I'll either teach them how to high point a ball or I'll make them a DB, right? So
there you go.
We'll, but yeah, so so it's networking. Girls will find out. I'll go to like a lot of NFL teams will put on a showcase, and so like I might go to a showcase like in Nevada, the Raiders will host one, and they might have 200 girls from the local area there, and so we get all their contact info, and so I'll reach out to all of them, the girl with my recruiting questionnaire, and then I kind of triage it. So the first thing I do is if they don't fill out the recruiting questionnaire, then they're not interested enough to come, right? The next step is I call the coaches, and when I'm talking to coaches. Again, it's a lot of what the men's coaches are doing. I want to know, are they coachable? Are they a good teammate? Do they take care of business in the classroom? What kind of headaches are they going to cause me outside the classroom, right? So we want coachable, good kids to come to our program. And then if that goes good, then I'm going to contact the athlete directly. We'll have a phone call, see if we have, like, what kind of chemistry we have there, and then I'll set up a Zoom call with the parents. And then a lot of that is just to make sure that they can see me face-to-face. A lot of times, especially – if they're coming across country, they want to look me in the eye before they trust me with their kid. I try to get them to come visit if they can. That's not always feasible based on family circumstances. But yeah, that's how we kind of start the relationship. And then we get them applied to school. And once they get accepted, then we can start working through the scholarship process. But all of our girls are on some kind of athletic scholarship. And then at Bethel, because we're NAIA, we also give an academic scholarship too. So we try to whittle it down. I don't have anybody on a full ride. We're not quite there yet, but I try to bring it down as low as I can for the better athletes.
Coach, what's your background?
So, did you want to know the rules, or you want my background first and then the rules?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, give us a little bit of your background and what were you doing before, and how you kind of got into this as it is an emerging sport.
This is funny. So I don't know a single woman in football that has a normal story, but so I was in the Army for 10 years, and then I worked for Department of Defense as a civilian for 20 years. I have 3 adult children. When my youngest finished high school, is kind of when I left civil service. So I had 30 years combined, but not old enough to get a pension. But I knew I just wanted to do something really different. Well, I thought what I was going to do was going to be doing some work as a private contractor, doing leadership development and strategic planning, because that's a lot of what I had done for the military. But I wanted to work with coaches. And so for like my last 8 years of civil service, I attended every Texas High School Coaches Association conference I could go to, any football clinic I could get to, and just trying to network. Well, the launch of my business was February 2020, right when COVID hit. And so nobody was hiring anybody to come in. And I was like, man, necessity breeds invention. And because I had been a member of Texas High School Coaches Association for so long, I thought, you know what, let me tweak my resume. And I had access to their online job board and literally applied to like 20 entry-level coaching jobs around the state of Texas. And I always say if it's meant to be, it's going to work out easy. And like the first place I sent it was Lubbock, Texas. And the assistant AD for personnel called me like within an hour and said, is this serious? This is what you want to do now? And I said, yep. They said, all right, I got 2 head coaches that are hiring. I'm going to have both of them interview you. And one of them offered me, and I interviewed both that week, and one offered me a job. And 2 weeks later, I was in Lubbock, Texas, coaching football. And so it was great because because I had my teaching license. In Texas, you have to have a teaching license. So I taught at the high school, government and economics. But and I helped out with the varsity team, but my primary coaching duties those first 2 years were middle school football. And so it was great because you have 7th grade A team and B team, 8th grade A team and B team, and you get to coach so many different positions because you don't have as many coaches. So I got to do O-line, D-line, tight ends, got to call offenses. So it was great. And then my third year, they moved me up to varsity, so I did tight ends and fullbacks. I didn't even know flag football was a collegiate sport until one of my mentors contacted me and said, hey, I sent your resume to a couple ADs in Kansas that are standing up flag football. And I was like, oh. She's like, no, one's getting ready to call you to interview you. So it was the same kind of deal. I interviewed over the phone. They asked me to come up a few days later for, like, the formal interview. And, like, 2 weeks later, they offered me the job. And 2 weeks after that, I moved to Kansas. So, I mean, I think I'm just lucky I'm at a point in my life where, my kids are all grown. My dog, I've been divorced for a few years, and so my dogs don't have a vote. They go wherever I go. So I've just been able to take advantage when someone offered me an opportunity, and I'm just having my best life. I'm like, I get paid to coach football all day. Like, it's great. And I get to, at Bethel, one of the deals there was they let me help out with the men's team. And so I do a defensive analyst for our men's team, and then I'm head coach for our women's team. So, I mean, I just get to do football all day. It's perfect.
That's fantastic. And the dogs are really all you need. We're talking with Felicia Teeter, the flag football coach at Bethel. So, yeah, real quick, tell us about the event again on November 11th, Veterans Day. And you can mix in some of the rules there because it's kind of like a triangular. Is it a round robin type of thing? You all playing each other? Are you all on the field at the same time?
Well, so what we're going to do is we really made it as informal. Like I said, I'm standing up a new team, a freshman, and I just, didn't want their first experience to just be horrid, playing more experienced teams. So what we're doing is, like, Cotty's offense will go against my defense for 10 plays. Then my offense will go against Pratt's defense for 10 plays. And then Pratt will do Cotty. Then we're going to each do some special teams, which the only special teams you have in flag are punt and punt return. So we'll do those. And then we're going to do a halftime veterans recognition. And then after that, we're each going to play one quarter against the other two teams of live ball. And so, like I said, for special teams, you only have punt and punt return. The field we play on is 40 yards wide by 80 yards long, compared to, like, a regular football field is 53 1/3 yards wide by 100 yards long. So we're a little bit narrower and a little bit shorter. But the first downs are line to gain. So your first down is at the 20, then the 40, then the 20. So the down marker is usually just placed at the line to gain. And so in the first series, though, they put the ball started on the 14-yard line. So for your first down, you just have to go 6 yards. And then after that, it really just depends how far the previous play carried you, how far you're going to have to go in the next series of 4 downs. As far as players, we play at 7 versus 7. It's kind of a combination to me. I try to describe it as like 6-man football and 7-on-7. So everybody is eligible receiver, including the center. The quarterback can run on the snap. So they don't need a lateral at first like they do in 6-man. The quarterback can run right away. The neutral zone is 1 yard as opposed to just the length of the football and tackle. And they can rush everybody or nobody on the snap of the ball. There's no time limit on the quarterback scramble, so if you don't put any pressure on the quarterback, they could run around back there all day long. Let's see.
I love it.
If the ball hits the ground, it's dead. Okay. We do use pass protection and a pass rush, but it's more like basketball screen blocking, except for you can't extend your hands out to the side of your body. Like, your hands have to be – you could be in athletic position. You don't have to put them behind your back or anything, but you can't put your hands out like you do in basketball. Yeah. So you've got to stay within the frame of your body. And it's basically like basketball as far as if I get set first and you run into me, then it's going to be on you. But if I'm moving into you, then it's going to be on me. And so if the ball is in the air, so say you throw a pass to me and I bobble it, then it's fair game until it hits the ground so anybody can – pick it off. So you can have interceptions. Yeah.
Well, have some balls. That's fantastic. It's you've lined it up for us pretty well, and we wish you luck as your first season begins. We'll keep an eye on flag football at the NAIA level here in Kansas.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Don't ever ask anybody the rules of their sport ever again.
No?
No.
Okay.
All right. Don't do that.
You did.
No, I didn't. Yeah. I thought I was going to mix in a rule here or there.
Well, you know them now.
Now I know all the rules.
20, 40, 20. So basically you only make 3 first downs and you're in the end, then it's end zone time.
And I think some of the touchdowns might be worth different points. Did she talk about any of that?
Hey, did you watch the game 1 there the other day, or did you watch the Pacers get absolutely annihilated?
I watched the
at
Pacers
Madison Square
get
Garden.
Absolutely annihilated. and then we watched something else.
So
but we got the World Series coming back tonight, Game 5.
Are the Yankees back?
No.
I didn't think so.
They're going to lose tonight, aren't they?
Dodgers might want to win it at home. Yankees might be able to squeak this one out. Flaherty's going.
All I know
Cole's
is this. Ice
going.
Cube was better than Fat Joe by a lot.
What was I just heard about it. I didn't see any of it, but I was listening to some stuff at work this morning, and I was like, what are they talking about? These guys are out there for like 6 minutes before the
They were out
game.
for like 5.
Singing?
Rapping.
Just.
And Ice Cube was great, and Fat Joe was bad. I don't know. Fat Joe's a fine performer and deserves all the accolades he's received, but he was not good at Yankee Stadium before Game 3. That was just bad. It was awful.
Was it?
Yeah.
That bad?
It was pretty bad. He was rapping over a track, and you could hear the track more than you could hear him.
Oh.
And it would go before him. So like it would sound like he was repeating what the track was doing. It's just bizarre. It was just bizarre.
That's too bad.
Who you got tonight? And I'm talking obviously about the Pacers.
Yeah, could care less.
Do they play?
Probably going. Yeah, the Pacers do play tonight.
They play the Celtics. They're going to get smashed.
Don't need to watch that. 1-4 after tonight. The old Pacers, and the World Series will be 3-2. Going back to L.A. Yankees win tonight.
No
yeah,
chance.
they do.
No chance.
Yeah, I think they got a chance.
You want to put it in the Simgin?
Oh, we should Simgin it up right before tomorrow.
Yeah,
that should probably be it. We got to see if the Simgin's back on track. All the buttons are now pushed. Everything is set like it should be.
It is.
And it is time for the Simgin.
Let's see. Well, we barely even had time to put the data in there.
Oh, what do you mean? You had all the data. You got it going
I did my best. Let's see.
Oh, it's really thinking.
It is.
It's really humming right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
5 zip Dodgers.
5 zip Dodgers.
That's what it says.
Wow.
They've been throwing shutouts all postseason. They're going to end it with another one.
You think so?
I don't think so. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think it's 6-4 Yankees. That's what I'm going with. 6-4 Yanks.
6-4.
6-4.
They get to Flaherty early, or is it a bullpen kind of late
No,
charge?
I think they're going to get to Flaherty tonight.
They might. He's a little gassed.
I think they get to Flaherty.
He's been kind of tired, but he still pitched pretty well.
But I'll say 6-4. I'm going 6-4 Yankees. You got
who gets the big hit?
Dodgers. Well, Judge has to get one sooner.
You would think.
He
just hasn't.
I know. You think he's due. Freddie Freeman will hit another home run to hit a dinger in the first 5 games of the World Series.
Impressive.
You think?
I think Mookie gets one tonight, too. That wasn't in the Simgen. That's just my personal prediction. But we'll see who's more accurate.
They'll each hit a solo shot. That's my
I had Mookie hitting a 3-run bomb.
Well, that's because I don't think so. In the 7th?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, hopefully, I feel better now about picking the Yankees because the Simgin picked the Dodgers. And the Simgin's 0 for 6 this year.
You turned on the Simgin quickly.
Well, I got the newer version, so
bring it out.
I have to
plug it in.
I mean, your version's 20 years young or older.
Do you want to read the outcomes from now on from the Simgin?
Well, if we do the 2020 version, then I guess I have to. If we do the 2000 version,
we'll see if we can talk Bob into it tomorrow.
Good luck.
We do have the 3-man booth tomorrow. Bob was back with the 2 of us. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Jamie Cruz and Felicia Teeter, our guests. Get that Odyssey app. Talk to you tomorrow. Later.